Welcome to the DC Daily Drop, your one-stop shop for today's important news in DC movies, TV, and comics. Here are your hosts, Tom and Zach.
Welcome to the DC Daily Drop. Today we're going to be doing something a little different, and we're doing this potentially new segment called DC Comics Characters 101. That's the best name we could come up with because we're not very creative. Is that what you would say, Zach?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, I'm Tom.
I'm Zach.
And today we're going to be talking about the Dominators. These beasts have been in the news quite a bit lately. They're going to be the villain of the 3 or 4 part CW crossover, depending on how you look at it. And so we're just going to do a brief introduction to their history and what they are like. So they're an alien race, obviously, from outer space. Their homeworld is known only as the Dominion. That's what it's referred to as. And these are some really pretty little aliens, wouldn't you say, Zach?
Yeah, they're pretty interesting looking. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna do on TV, if they're gonna do CGI or makeup. In the comics they have yellow skin, a big red circle on their forehead, big, huge, sharp teeth, and long nails. So if you just look them up, and they have like big ears and weirdly shaped heads, kind of. So if you look up a picture of them, you can see that they definitely do not blend in as humans, so it'll be pretty easy to tell that they are aliens, I think.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see
ugly.
What they do. Yeah.
They're quite ugly, and I wonder what that's going to look like in live action.
Yeah.
But yeah, they first appeared in Adventure Comics number 361 back in October of 1967. That is an interesting comic. I skimmed through it, and 60s comics. There's a lot going on there. They actually are sort of a grayish blue color. And I think their forehead circle was white and not red. But other than that, they look the same. And yeah, I don't know. Somehow they're involved with John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald, and it's quite a read. There's a whole lot in that issue. I'll just say that. But one thing that was interesting in there, now they're technically generally a villain of the Legion of Superheroes. So I would be, at this point, I'm almost expecting some sort of cameo or role from a Legionnaire or more of the Legion of Superheroes, because that's generally who they work with, because their first appearance was in the year 2967, 1,000 years in the future, and they're described as a race bred solely for conquest and domination. But what's neat about them is they're actually geneticists, and so they're sort of interested in humans because they want to be able to manipulate metahumans and like find the metagene and sort of use that for their own ways. The Dominators are most popular from the Invasion storyline from the late 80s. Obviously, that's what the crossover is going to be based on, Invasion. And they sort of, in that, they're basically just abducting humans looking for the metagene. And that's sort of how they're introduced. So they just grab 50 humans and hope that one has a metagene. And then they just kill the rest.
And then they create like a gene bomb, right? And that to try to reverse the effects of the metahuman gene, and it like will actually kill those metahumans.
Right. Yeah, it gets wild. We're gonna do an Invasion specific episode and sort of preview the CW crossover. But yeah, it's a different story. But I like that they approach it from like a geneticist level and not just try to invade and destroy everyone.
Yeah,
they're at least looking for something. Makes them a deeper character, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, the generic Hollywood alien just shows up and destroys you for no reason because they're aliens and they don't like you.
Yeah, they want to do it for science. So
right. I can understand that.
That's sweet of them. But they've been in film and TV a little bit. I mean, they've been around almost 50 years now in the comics. Wow. But in film and TV, they actually had a brief cameo. This isn't a TV show, but the Smallville season 11 comic book, the final storyline, there was a short cameo. I mean, they were in 2 or 3 panels maybe. And film wise, they were in Green Lantern Emerald Knights, the animated film from 2011. They are sort of the reason the Green Lantern Corps was created in that, because they were going around destroying civilizations. So that's how the Green Lantern Corps had to be formed, and they decided to form it. And they've also been in, like I said, they were in the Legion of Superheroes cartoon, which was from 2006 to 2008. So they're mostly known with the Legion of Superheroes, but that Invasion storyline had other characters, obviously. So Yeah, and then they're going to be the villain, of course, in the CW crossover that comes at the end of November and early December.
Yeah. When I first heard announced that they were going to be the main villain of the crossover, I was kind of surprised. I guess I would have bet on the Dominators being what they would pick. But, I'm okay. They sound pretty interesting. There's something very different than what we've seen before. So I'm interested to see what they do with it, especially with the way that they look. I want to see if they're going to do like practical makeup effects or if they're going to try to do CGI. So
yeah, it's going to be a tricky look to pull off, but it makes sense with the emphasis of metahumans on the Flash to.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to go that way and go with a metagene storyline, or if they're just going to be sort of generic, let's destroy Earth invaders, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all we've got about the Dominators. If you've got any characters that you would like to suggest for a segment like this, if you like this, let us know, and we'll try to do it on a future episode.
Thanks for listening, and make sure to check out DC Daily Drop on Twitter, Facebook, and DCDailyDrop.com. Drop by tomorrow for more DC news.